afternoon. Good afternoon. Let me remove some of my banners out of the way. Welcome to a session, a live class session here at Cornerstone. My husband will be here soon, and I'm going to let Pastor Norman in. I think he's already here. Pastor Norman, how are
Hey,
you?
Mom, I'm doing great in yourself.
Doing good. You all decked out with hats and stuff
Oh,
tonight.
no, I'm casual.
Is that what casual is?
Yes, ma'am, I'm casual.
You're casual. Oh, okay, okay. I know you're a fashion man. I know how you do. You like clothes. I've been around you long enough to know you like clothes.
Just a little bit, just a little bit.
Maybe not as much as when I first met you, but you like clothes. I know you do. How have you
Yes,
been today?
great, great.
Good, 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 good. Let me see who's here with us. And Reverend will be here eventually. Anyway, let's see who's here tonight. That's hey, Jonathan. I'm glad you're with us. I think about you often, young man. And Sandra, I just want to let you know how good that beef stew was that you brought us on Sunday. Thank you so much.
Ooh,
She fixed it up.
you
It was
you
good.
preaching now, Mom? Beef
It was
stew.
good. It was stew beef with lots of vegetables in it. It was really really good. In fact,
Wow.
Renee and my brother-in-law William was here, and my niece was here, and we all shared in it with her cornbread. I need your cornbread recipe, and I know it wasn't Jiffy.
Wow.
No, it
Yeah.
wasn't Jiffy, but they said it was just as good. See, I made cornbread too, but they raved over Sandra's cornbread,
You
so they
you talking
liked her
about
sweet cornbread.
you talking my wife talk now. You talking her talk now. She loved doing
Yeah.
cornbread.
Now, see, I got Ma Hazel's cornbread recipe, so mine is pretty good. But they were raving over hers because it was really sweet, like sweet bread. Oh man, they had a time. And see, I'm not a fan of Jiffy, but they said this wasn't Jiffy, so I need her. I need her recipe. I really, really do. She said she'll tell me how she made it. Yes, you'll have to tell me. You have to tell me. Hey, brother Greason, how are you? Turn my mic up. Let's see if I've got the settings wrong. Let's see if I've got something wrong here. Let me fix it right quick. Change it. Let me know if that's any better, John. Let me know if that's any better. And thank you for alerting me to that. And so, anyway, yes, her cornbread was great. Hey, Jill. Yes, yes,
I
yes.
should have overnight me some beef stew and cornbread.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. It was good. And there's my sissy and my brother-in-law. They're here tonight. I'm glad you're here with us. Let me know, John. Is that any better? Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Well, I know Pastor Norman, you would know this young man. I put it on our Facebook page today. I just need to say it for those who may come in.
You remember
Uh,
Jeff?
Pastor Jeff passed. Yeah, he's been sick for quite some time, still going and pastoring his church, but he passed sometime between yesterday and this morning. And of course, we're gonna all miss him, his presence and everything.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So my heart was a little heavy this morning and all, but I'm better now. I'm better now. So just wanted to let you know, and some of the others who may have known him and remember him.
Wow.
And yeah, yeah. We don't have any arrangements yet, so I can't tell anybody what that would be. But anyway, yeah, that was the first thing this morning we heard. Of course, his daughter put it on Facebook this morning, and so we yes, John, that is Pastor Jeff Lucas. Yes, yes, yes. He had been ailing for some time, and really fighting it with his faith and all in prayer and doing what he's always done, teaching and preaching. But he succumbed to it this week. So anyway, keep their family in prayer and send them all the light and love, of course, that they're going to need for the girls I think the girls are the only ones left now. So yeah, because their mom died a couple of years ago. So this is This is something really is hard for them, I'm pretty sure. But keep them in prayer. Life still goes on. I was thinking about the Hurricane Milton that's barreling down on Florida, and we were talking earlier. By the way, hey Pastor, hey Pastor,
How you do, man? How you do, y'all?
Dad, you okay, Dad?
Dead.
Yeah. So yeah, John, it is sad. But at the same time, he fulfilled his mission. I'm pretty sure God would not have allowed him to leave with it unless he had fulfilled his mission. So we're grateful for that. We're grateful for the time that we had a chance to know him and get to interact with him. So yeah, just keep them in prayer. So I was thinking about Milton, the hurricane is barreling down on Florida,
Mhm.
and I began to understand something that this whole thing in our country, the political arena, the political environment, the wars, and all of that is kind of like the way they do the trajectory for that for the hurricane. And if you guys, have, any of you have looked at it, you would have seen that they at first they couldn't tell exactly where it would land, and they're really still they're relatively sure, but they're not positively sure where it will land. And I thought, well, this whole thing with our political climate is the same way. uh, the trajectory, of course, we can assume that it might land a certain way for one party or the other, but we don't really know. And I said this to Dad yesterday. Pastor Norman, you'll appreciate this. I said this to Dad yesterday, that in order to receive a pure prophetic word about what is going to come or will come or what will be, we have to remain neutral and not take any sides at all. So my preference as to which candidate should win does not play a part in whatever prophetic word the Lord would give to us. And until we are neutral, there won't be a word come to us.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
And it's funny because I made a similar statement on Sunday as well. And of course, you have people that's constantly pulling on those that are spiritual leaders, and especially those that they're
Mhm.
aware of that's prophetic in nature. But again, even the conversation came up in the gym, and so of course, I would give pretty much my personal opinion,
Oh
but
yeah,
still, yet at the end of the day, God's will is sovereign, and
exactly,
so
exactly.
like I was sharing with them, it's funny because in the last election, I heard exactly
Mm-hmm.
when it
Mm-hmm.
happened step by step,
Mm-hmm.
and it happened exactly the way it was revealed. This time, I can honestly say I'm not hearing.
I wish I could say the same, but I have heard, but I don't know. I will not say what it is because I'm not that assured of myself as a prophetic to receive prophetic words. But usually, when I get something as clear as I've gotten this, it's usually the truth. So I'm not going to say one way or the other. But before we get started, and welcome, Sister Chris. I saw you just pop in. And before we get started, let's do an affirmation right quick. And I'm not going to put it on the screen or anything, but let's just gear ourselves in and find a place of I'm not going to say peace, but find a place of non-restlessness
Mhm.
based on all of the things that are being presented to us in this life and at this moment in life. Um, I want you to repeat this after me, if you would. I have no need to be accepted.
I have no need to be accepted.
I have no need to be approved of.
I have no need to be approved of.
I have no need to be validated.
I have no need to be validated.
I have no need to be liked.
I have no need to be liked.
I have no need to be loved.
I have no need to be loved.
I have no need to be admired.
I have no need to be admired.
I have no need to be looked up to.
I have no need to be looked up to.
I have no need to be respected.
I have no need to be respected.
I have no need to be honored.
I have no need to be honored.
I have no need to be recognized.
I have no need to be recognized.
I have no need to be agreed with.
I have no need to be agreed with.
I have no need to be followed.
I have no need to be followed.
I have no need to be nurtured.
I have no need to be nurtured.
I have no need to be comforted.
I have no need to be comforted.
I have no need to be defended.
I have no need to be defended.
I have no need to be supported.
I have no need to be supported.
I have no needs.
I have no needs.
I have no need to be valued.
I have no need to be valued.
I have no needs.
I have no needs.
I shall not want.
I shall not want.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Yes. Now when we say those things, I don't know about your mind, but my mind is pretty much like your mind, I'm pretty sure. There are times when I'll feel the resistance come up because especially when you say I have no need to be loved.
I was
I
going to
have
say,
no need to be validated. Mhm.
mm-hmm,
But we're speaking from that place that is already complete,
mm-hmm,
from that place where there are no needs, from that consciousness that where there is no need. We're speaking from that angelic God conscious place, from what you truly are, beyond your body, beyond your mind, beyond your relativity to anything physical. And
mm-hmm,
so, based on that, those are the truth of you. Anything other than that would be relative to only your body and your mind and this physical existence. So when we speak from that place or that consciousness that we are, true consciousness, that God consciousness, the language is radical to our minds.
mm-hmm,
And so it is foreign to most people because most of us live in the place where we do need to be loved. We do need to be validated. We do need all of those things.
mm-hmm,
And there's nothing wrong with when you feel you need that, but knowing that that part of you that needs it is not that part of you that is permanent or is the God essence of you.
mm-hmm,
The truest part of you, the most authentic part of you, the essential part of you.
mm-hmm,
So I wanted to give you a chance to say those things about yourself in order to distance yourself from that is relative to your physical existence. And I hope it helps you a little bit. Hope it helps you.
mm-hmm.
Because you have to love yourself before you become what you desire to be.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned that one because that was the same one that I would have mentioned. Feeling the resistance that I.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I have no need to be loved. Oh wow.
Really was.
No need to be respected is another one. Is another one
But
because
I don't feel no resistance to that.
well, good,
The
good.
only one I
But
felt
some of us do. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
the only one I felt resistance to was the one love.
Uh
Um,
huh.
the other ones, I kind of have dealt with those and
Hmm.
faced those during the time again of my experience during the pandemic.
Hmm.
The process of being enlightened, where you go through that process of being stripped from everything
Yeah.
and so forth. And so I realize even in, the work that we do, which is called ministry, we oftentimes would do ministry for respect, to be honored. We talk about the anniversaries and all the different things, but I got to the place where that is not even that meaningful to me anymore.
And agreed with. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yes, 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 yes. What is it that Jill has just said? She said, same. Last time I knew, this time I suspect, but it's colored by my own perceptions. She must be speaking to something we said earlier. So yeah, yeah. So the how I see myself is where these resistances come up.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I say I have no need to be defended, if I'm at a point where I feel victimized, that would bring up resistance.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So all of these things, like I said, are relative to your physical existence and whatever you're going through in your personal life, and finding a way to see yourself other than that one that is needy. That takes a certain amount of determination to make sure that you practice having that consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so, yeah, yeah.
And that's good because that takes us back to um last year. I think you was sharing that concerning going back to the stripping process.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
once everything is stripped away, now you're left to the point with the question, now who are you? With
Now,
all of these attachments, who are
hmm.
you now? And I love how you mentioned in the affirmation, the last part, I shall not want, because that's one of the big things, and it's one of the favorite passages of scriptures that we like to use. You know, the Lord is my shepherd, I
I shall
shall not
not.
want. But and again, we say these things with no enlightenment whatsoever on what we say.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, Jill was saying she's speaking of specifically about the election when she said what she said there. And yes, the trajectory being neutral, we have preferences, but our preference doesn't have any weight when it comes to what the larger picture is and what is. Let me say it like this: with the like when you look at the hurricane and how they predict the trajectory of that hurricane, there are factors that will determine where that hurricane lands. There are forces that will push the hurricane in one direction or the other.
Mhm,
Would, if not push, it will make it gravitate in one direction or the other. It's the same with the political arena and all of the other things that we're dealing with. There are forces
mhm,
that are beyond the human touch, beyond what humans can do, beyond human control, that will cause the trajectory to change.
mhm,
So, and I thought of this, and I don't want to just get off on the political thing, but I thought of this with all of the things that have happened in North Carolina and, of course, South Carolina, but pretty much North Carolina was devastated by Hurricane Helene.
mhm,
And now Florida was as well. And now here they are faced with Milton, the Hurricane Milton.
mhm,
Surely that's going to affect the voting process.
mhm,
So here we're dealing with another possibility or potential of trajectory where
mhm.
it will land and how it will land. So
Exactly.
yes, yes. So praying for one candidate versus the other doesn't carry a lot of weight. What we should be praying is, Lord, let your will be done, no matter which candidate wins. Let your will be done in this country, in this world, and for all of the people, not just for some of the people who agree with one side versus the other. So the living in neutrality is a whole different way of looking at life.
Mhm,
I can look at TV, and because my candidate may not be getting favorable polls, and get upset. Or I can look at one candidate and get upset about what they're saying or doing. But that still has no bearing on where where this whole thing is going to land. And so
exactly.
to remain neutral is best. Is best.
And I'm glad that you said that. Because again, many of us must understand, that whoever we are, whoever's our preference, even if that one is not the one that is elected, we should not allow ourselves to be so attached to the
Mhm,
point
mhm.
that it caused that feeling to rise.
Yes, yes,
I
yes.
believe that that's what happened last time with the
Mhm.
insurrection. They developed a serious soul tie to the personality, and I put it
True.
that
True. True.
way.
True.
And when it didn't go the way that they were so determined that it was going to go, that's when all of the upheaval and everything went. So again, even though I have my preference, like I was sharing with the gentleman on Saturday,
Mm-hmm.
I know what my preference is, and there's a reason why I have the preference that I have.
Right.
I
Right.
not, and I'm not even ashamed to say this on this. I don't consider myself to be a Republican, a
Right.
Democrat, nor independent. I do. I pray and I just ask for direction and
Mm-hmm.
so forth. So, no, being neutral means that even if my preference does not is not the one elected, it's not going to affect me to the point where I'm angry with the world or I'm
Yeah.
angry and,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so forth. And that's where we need to get. We need to get. Dad talks about being in the middle of the road all the time. So,
Yes. Yes. And when we realize that the government is not our source,
exactly,
that God is our source, and that that is how we will fare better in this world, not because our candidate wins. And
exactly.
so, knowing that and falling back on the fact that you know God is your source and that you are taken care of because of that,
Mhm.
um, then you don't put so much weight and value or importance on which candidate actually wins. Yes, it will change things
Mhm.
depending on which one wins. It will change things, but we don't know if that change is not what God actually wants. And this is where.
And I'm glad you mentioned it because what was revealed to me through all of this, and I mean everything is tied in. I'm glad that you mentioned concerning the storm as well, because there is a tie into the political
Mhm,
arena.
mhm,
Matter of fact, they've been talking about that from the time I was watching it for something this morning on
yeah,
CNN,
mhm,
how the storm could affect everything that's going on in the political arena. Well, on Sunday when I woke up, I had something else planned to minister to during our 12:30 in the afternoon service. Um, and it was something that the Lord revealed to me, and it had a lot to do with everything that we're talking about, uh,
mhm,
all of the different things that you guys have shared. And I discovered the two missing factor when we are trying to share, I'll put it that way, with others the enlightenment or the awakening that we have gone through. And so immediately the Lord brought my attention to Paul, who was formerly known as Saul.
mhm.
And remember in Acts 9, he was getting letters from the priests, from the magistrate, to go and persecute, to harass, to imprison, to execute the people that was considered in the way.
Yes,
They use Christian, they use the word the way.
yeah,
And so I thought about that because number one, he was a very well educated man. He
mhm,
was a religious man. He was part of one of the highest religious organizations, was the Pharisees. So in his world, especially in his religious ideology, he was the man. He
yeah,
was the man, and he
yeah,
could get anything that he wanted. And again, very well educated. But it was on his way to Damascus that he had the encounter. And that
yes,
was the first thing the Lord revealed to me, that many people having a hard time understanding what we're sharing. And when we talk about conversion, because I believe we're going through a universal conversion
yeah, yeah,
where what converted us was not preaching, teaching, reading. It was an encounter and
mhm,
an experience
yes,
that
yeah,
changed our trajectory. And
yes,
so forth.
yes,
We was converted by the encounter and the experience. And so we can share all day long to other people, but
mhm.
not until they have their own personal
Experience.
encounter and experience, there will be no
Exactly,
conversion.
exactly, exactly. They have to have.
Mhm.
And that means that even in these sessions, there has to be a certain level of presence that comes forth rather than just words. Now, Dad, you talked about to me the other day how words don't have any importance.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Forgiveness is not words. Forgiveness is finding out that it never happened. And when you wake up to your true identity, the whole thing of this story is that my discovery is that once you understand who the fullness of you, the fullness of who you are is not in full effect, and the fullness of who we are has nothing to do with the terminology that we've used for years.
Mhm.
Receiving more of God, receiving the Spirit of God, receiving the baptism of the Spirit. The finger is pointing toward the more aware you become of who you really are before coming here is what is called being filled with the Spirit.
Mhm.
To the degree that we are convinced that we are already that I am
Mhm.
implements the baptism of the Spirit. And when then there's a place where there's a place where you will, unless you stay away from this, you're going to always be in the trap of saying this because the ego mind the ego and the mind is determined to not you find out or let it be made known that you are the one that's watching the watcher, and the watcher that's watching the watcher is your God self.
Mhm.
So there is a place where you come to where there's no need for happiness. There is never anything to get. Everything is a dream. The right mind is what the real pointing is. The right mind is we are not. Let's say it like this: we leave the body. It has never been us, but we go in and out, turn it on and turn it off.
Mhm.
We are constantly turn it on, turn it off. Well, I'm sorry, I made a mistake there. The mind is constantly given the idea that it's got
Mhm.
God
Mhm.
self is turned on and off
Mhm.
based
Mhm.
on by what happens and what don't happen that we call God just blessed me, God just gave me something, God just showed me something. And none of that it really exists. He ain't never showed anybody anything because if he showed you anything, it's not going to be any more than just being your real self. And the
Mhm.
real self is not interested in being seen or shown anything. Now that's a hard statement, and that's called the final death. I'm talking about the final death, the real final death. The real final death is not you dying. See, a lot of us are leaving the body, dying. The body is dying, and we're leaving it, not finding out who we are. And we're not supposed to find out who we are leaving the body on the other side. We're supposed to find that out over here
Mhm.
before we leave the body.
Mhm.
Because what leaves the body is the real self.
Yes.
Exactly.
So once we understand, but you're not going to get people to understand. You're not going to get. I put it like this: all we can do is point.
That's it.
There you go. There you
I
go.
point like this: you ugly thing, you. That's what I'm gonna say. You ugly thing, and look at you. Yeah, you ugly. And look, I'm ugly too. That's why I call you ugly. But ha, doggone it.
Well,
There we go.
I'm gonna go back to this to some scriptures here based on what you guys are sharing in First Corinthians 2. And Paul said this when he was talking to, and I think it was Paul talking to the church. He says, "I was with you in weakness and
Mm.
in fear and in much trembling. And my speech and my preaching was not with enticing words of man's wisdom,
Yeah.
but in demonstration of the Spirit and of power." And I looked at it, reference ran over to Ephesians 3:16. The demonstration of spirit and power ran into this verse in the 16th verse of that chapter. It says that he would, this is the prayer that he prayed, that he would grant you, according to the riches of his glory, to be strengthened with might by his spirit in the inner man.
Mm-hmm.
It's the demonstration of power that he's talking about is not miracles of healing and deliverance. It's the actual demonstration of the might of God in the inner man that strengthens us to be Christ in the earth.
That's the only that's the only way we can see it. That's the only way we can be it.
Christ, the
I
power
mean,
of
we
God.
are it, but to be aware
Yeah.
of it.
See, we think all these other things is the power of God, but it says in the very scriptures that we read, Christ is the power of God.
All of the things that we witness, that we're exposed to, those are just the results or the
Yes.
evidence of the power and the might of God in us. That's why not by power nor by might, but by my spirit, says
Yes.
the Lord.
Yes.
And so that's where some of those that I'm mentoring, I'm really, especially the younger ones that's coming up, they have such a zeal. They have such a
Mhm.
zeal. But in the words of Paul, much zeal, but lack of knowledge. All right.
Yes.
Which
Yes.
goes
Yes.
back to that word experience.
Mm-hmm.
They are fascinated over the abilities that God has given them,
Yes. Yes.
not realizing that it's not in that, it's in what you just said, the power of God in the inner man.
Inner man. Yes.
And
What
that
they're what
your focus.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is why I always tell them, if you focus on the character, the essence, and the nature of God more than your uh, gifts and abilities that were given to you without repentance, because gifts and callings come without repentance, then you're on the journey of
Mm-hmm.
enlightenment or
Mm-hmm.
awareness. If you stay focused on what you can do, you'll
Mm-hmm.
never really have the experience to come to know Him and know you.
Mm-hmm.
we won't know, but we are fascinated with being insanity.
Being insane.
Good. That's good. That's good.
We are. We are.
And we think being insane is somebody that's locked up in a room and saying the same thing over and over again and bumping their head against a rubber pad. But once you get on the well, you've been bumping your butt on a pad ever since you were the baby, wearing depends and diapers
Mhm.
until you and even when you quit bumping your butt on them pads and diapers and wetting your bridges, you're still insane. Mm. You're still crazy.
Well, and what
Cause you,
causes
cause you ain't figured out. Most people don't come out of bumping their head back and forth wearing Pampers and diapers just because they wear bloomers and pants when they get older. They still crazy.
is that what happened to you?
Yeah, you started.
That boy.
You
I
started
think
early tonight.
he's wearing Pampers. I think.
Go ahead and talk to him. He ain't talking to me. I don't know nothing about it. I don't.
But you know what
I don't wear
causes
nothing.
okay, that's too much.
Yeah.
But what causes insanity? What causes insanity is when the mind predicts or conjures or reminds. Then, when we follow that the mind has presented to us and believe it is coming from us, that's what insanity is.
I often get mine insanitized.
Yeah, I believe that. So, but now we have talking about being strengthened with might in the inner man. There, there, and I've said this before. We often talk about in these sessions in these spiritual communities.
They need to be insanitized too.
We talk about overcoming the mind. We talk about quieting the mind,
Mm-mm.
being delivered from our thought life, and all of this stuff. But those things we can go around and around that mulberry bush on that merry-go-round forever. But
Mm-hmm.
I said that each one of us has inside of us, we have inside of us the ability, not so much to quieten the mind, not so much to be delivered from the mind, but to ignore the mind.
Exactly.
And it's proof positive that we can do it. We sit in a restaurant or a cafeteria where everybody's talking.
Everybody's insane.
Everybody's mind is speaking,
Insane.
including ours. But
Mm-mm.
we have the ability, we have the God-given ability to tune out everybody else's conversation except the ones we're focused on.
That's
So
good.
that's power.
That's good.
But
That's
we have to choose not to listen.
mm,
So the power that we have inside of us is to ignore the mind.
that's amazing, Mom. You share that. When you said that, I thought about a good character, Marvel character. Y'all know I'm into the Marvel universe stuff.
Oh
But
yeah.
the Daredevil, okay, when he
The
lost his
marbles.
sight, when he lost his physical sight and his ability to hear amplified, and when it did, he was hearing so many voices at one time till he was going insane. He couldn't
Yeah.
handle it until
Yeah.
he learned how to block every other sound out and focus on the one sound that he was intentionally trying to focus on.
And we have that ability. But
Yes.
we don't, I'll put it like this, we don't know how to use it deliberately.
Mhm,
We do it by default,
mhm.
but only when we want to focus. If we could deliberately do that, we would not be disturbed by our mind at all.
That's when the Bible say marble not.
Yes. You lost your
You
marbles.
don't lose your marbles.
You
That's
lost
it.
your marbles.
And I ain't got no marbles.
You don't have any
I
marbles.
roll them all up under the table.
Marble not.
I got some
Marble, marble
marble.
not. I mean,
Marble not. That's what that is.
there's a new scripture on me. Marble not.
The marble, you know, the in marble insanity is the mind saying the same haba thing all over again.
Insanity is also trying to stop
Hey,
something
that
that may
devil
never
down.
stop.
Exactly.
We
Exactly.
try to shut out what the mind is saying, but the mind is going to do what it does. But the problem is we believe that thinking and those thoughts are coming from us.
If you siding with the mind, you're gonna be losing your marbles.
Exactly.
And so that lets me know that that oftentimes we classify something as operating in faith when in all actuality it is the mind that is insane, that has made up its mind that I'm determined this is going to happen no matter what.
Much of what we've classified as faith is nothing more than fear of facing what's happening, and we're trying to change it because we're afraid.
Exactly. Exactly. Yep.
So being strengthened with might by his spirit in the inner man. I remember you used to preach this sermon all the time about the might, the spirit of might. How that they marveled. There's the word again.
The
They
spirit of
marveled.
might is the ability where when
And
you set out to accomplish something, you complete it. It is
yes,
finished.
you're able to do it.
It is you. Thank you.
So they marveled at the might that Jesus had.
They were shooting marbles.
Yeah. Yes. You're gonna milk that, aren't you?
I'm a
Yes,
marble.
He's gonna milk it as far as
I don't
and
milk.
then I have to blame myself because I mentioned Marvel Universe.
Well, you know, we used to have a guy in the church named Marble.
Oh,
Criminal.
Yeah, I
his
knew
name
he was going to say
wasn't
that.
Marvel.
I knew he was going to say that. I
Oh
knew it.
my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Hey, you marble. You make marble cake. What is a
I'm
marble cake?
marvelous.
What is a marble cake? Marble cake. You ever heard of it?
I've heard of a marble cake.
It
Yes.
ain't got no sense.
It may not have,
Anybody eat all of
It
it
may
one
not
time ain't got no sense.
but it does have marble.
Yeah, it marble. You
Yeah.
roll it down the bowling alley.
Yeah. Now, what are you gonna be crazy tonight? Nobody's gonna want to sit here and listen to your craziness.
I tell you, I'm gonna come get you. I'm not even coming to get you to come minister or to preach or whatever. I'm
Just
going to set up a comic night, just one night.
yeah.
One night.
And you know what he'll do?
Hey,
He'll
and
sit
you
there and
have
clap
all
up. He
you
won't
have
do
all the
anything.
orphans you need.
If you tell him to be funny, he won't be. That's what
Did you hear what Juanita Bynum talking about how the women dressing in church?
I've heard
Oh
it
yeah,
before.
yeah, that's old.
You don't really whoop down on that this time.
Yeah, I've heard it before.
I heard it today.
Okay. So what is it?
Marble. She's crazy. They ain't gonna stop it.
Lord, no.
It ain't gonna stop.
Not today, not these days.
And that goes back to what I was teaching Sunday, because the mind, and I'm glad y'all brought that up, especially for those that are considered preachers or spiritual leaders. We think that through our much preaching that we can truly change a person. And
Yes.
it goes back to really, if we get the idea that all we're doing is what you said earlier, we're just pointing in the
Yes.
direction. But it's
Exactly.
up to you to make that decision if you're going to take that journey or not. And
Yeah.
so if you decide not to take the journey, then it's obvious you will not have that divine encounter nor that divine experience that will bring conversion in your life. And so that's what a lot of people are not understanding. So this is why I have to share with people, you, because sometimes preachers and ministers, they will get to the point where they're delivering a word and you can tell it's being delivered in anger
Yes.
as they trying to make you going to do it this way or
Yeah.
else, and that doesn't work. And so if we
And
look
they'll, yeah, yeah,
we look
and they'll
at
make you
all
feel.
of the heroes of faith in the Bible, and I went down that list Sunday, every last one of them, they went through that conversion because of an accounting, and it had nothing to do with what was being preached.
Exactly. Yes, sir.
I had a music teacher in the 6th grade try to get music in us by whooping us in on the butt with a paddle. They never did get to the head. We never did learn them songs. You cannot force somebody to do that. So she beat my butt till it got flat, and
All you do when you force, all you do is when you force is you cause resentment.
Exactly.
it caused my butt to hurt. I
It
know that.
caused resentment,
Yeah, and I
and
don't.
then you shut down being open to learning.
I found out why she's beating our butt too.
So, as you said, Pastor Norman,
She's getting hers beat.
a lot of ministers have used the pulpit to display their anger and to get what's on their chest off.
That's what the preacher was doing. I found out.
Mm-hmm.
She.
We call
And
it
they,
getting on our soapbox.
yes, and it cause people to feel like God is angry when God is not angry. God is not angered by what we do. Now that I had to come to the understanding that God does not act like a human.
Mm-hmm.
We want to think God acts like a human because we've taken scriptures out of context.
Mm-hmm.
We've taken God and made God human and made God like us, getting mad, holding grudges. God doesn't do that.
No. Well, and even getting people to the point of what we would call being sin conscious.
Yeah.
We'll go through a list of things: fornication, adultery, lying, cheating, the killing, murder, and none of that is really actually sin. That is the results of
No.
you, the result of you not walking in your true character.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
what that is. That's why it's called the works of the flesh, and it's not the works of the spirit.
So in actuality, the things we said as affirmations at the very beginning of this session is how God thinks. I have no need to be accepted. I
Mm-hmm.
have no need to be approved of. I have no need to be validated. God says that. I have no need to be liked. I have no need to be loved. I have no need to be admired. I have no need to be looked up to.
You know why?
I have no need to be respected.
You know
I
why?
have no need to be honored. Why?
Because once you wake up to the full awareness of the Christ consciousness, war, pain, fighting each other is an illusion, and the mind ego evil is trying to stop us from talking to God in each other without the ego.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. There are three words I want to point out. One word is evolution, and we say that word a lot. It's the progressive movement toward our full potential. Okay, so we're all evolving. And then there is revolution, which is the progressive movement to transformation. Some of us, we are in union with God. Our existence, just being in existence, causes is us being in union with God. That's existential union. But there is a difference in existential union and transformational union. Transformational union is when I have come to a realization that there is no separation between me and God. And it's not because I don't believe in it anymore. It's not because I choose that it's no separation. It's because I've come to a realization that there's nothing else in this world, in this earth, but God.
But God.
So everything I see and everything I witness is God on some level of consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
But we've kept the image of God, or conjured the image of God as this being somewhere out, way out in space somewhere, a place we call heaven, and we try to connect with that remote sky God, and we can't.
Mm-hmm.
God is here and now.
And that's because we don't understand the fluidity of the spirit. And what I
Yes,
mean by that is like water. Water
yes,
pretty much takes on the form based off of whatever is needed at that time, based off of the circumstances, situations, and the environment. So, one moment, water is just as fluid as can be. The next moment, water becomes ice. A solid,
yes,
it still properties does not change. It's
yes,
just frozen in time. And
yes,
then we have water that becomes what? Vapor or
yes,
yeah, and so
yes,
forth. So again, that is God Himself, the fluidity of
yeah,
the Spirit.
yeah,
He
yeah.
takes on many different forms.
And he's taken on our forms.
Exactly.
That's where the rubber meets the road. He
Mhm.
takes on our forms. But it's hard for me to accept that, my mind to accept that, because I think I have this image of what that's supposed to look like.
Mhm.
And I don't fit that image. So therefore, I can't accept that about myself. But Jesus did that. And he came to show us our divine dimension inside of all of us. And he dared to believe himself that way. He thought it not robbery to count himself equal or same
Exactly.
as God. He came to be an example for how we're supposed to see ourselves.
Mhm. Yeah. And it's funny because you just made me think about something when we was on our way to vacation week before last. And of course I'm a person that be meditating when I'm driving. And something occurred to me because we keep using the word God. And again,
Mhm.
we got to remember it's just a word we use to describe. Uh,
You hear that?
I'll put it this way: I am. Just describe because it's not His name. It's not. Um,
Right, right,
and
right.
this thought came to me. This impression, and really, I heard it asked to me, "What is the purpose of a God?" And it startled me when I heard it. What? I
Mhm.
mean, I felt like that's blasphemy, that's being heretical. But then once I got to the hotel, I started researching some things. And of course, it was more of an intellectual answer where a God is one that creates.
Did you
Uh
get it from AI?
no, oh, I don't even want to talk about AI right now because um that one of the things with AI now is I see where it is going to be a major problem because it is being used as a tool for deception.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And that's going to because even like for
Yeah.
example, I always knew that my phone, when I would go to the gym every morning, right before I go to the gym, my phone, as soon as I cut on my car, the phone lets me know I'm 7 minutes away from the gym. But I had the weirdest thing that happened to me Sunday when I was heading to church, and my car let me know that my phone was not in the car. So I turned around and I went and got my phone. And so when I grabbed my phone, I just happened to glance at it, and it said 5 minutes from West. So I'm like, how you know what my pattern is on Sunday?
Mm.
Well, it's telling me where I'm going. So it done learned my behavior. And
And this
I don't like that.
that reminds me of my brother when he was alive. We were riding down through town in Winston, and we saw this blind man with his dog, and the dog was leading this man down the street. My brother said, "Hmm, Wonder how that dog know where that man is going. It's because it's familiar with that pattern, the pattern that that man has.
Exactly. And that is the concern I have with AI. How far will it go to learn man's behavior and patterns,
Oh yeah.
and
Oh
it
yeah.
gets to the point where it makes his own decision?
Well, we've been seeing it on our iPhones anyway, because when you go to spell check, it automatically puts in whatever word it thinks you're saying.
Oh yeah.
And some of our texts look really silly because of it. It decides which word you're going to use, and we don't stop and look at it. We just send it, and then we realize, oh, that's not what I was saying. So yeah, it's been enforced for years. It's been enforced for years.
Been very aware of that, but I don't like and like I said, I've been very aware that it let me know I was going to the gym, but now it has my pattern on Sunday because again, I'm going to the gym almost every single day. So that made sense to me. But
It
I'm
is
going
what
to
it is,
church on
Pastor
Sunday.
Norman.
I'm like, oh no, I don't like it.
It
I
is
don't
what it
like
is.
this. No.
I know. Jill says, and our false belief in separation caused us to pause, question, and etc. The affirmations about having no needs. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. False beliefs about how we see ourselves, our belief about how we see ourselves
Mm-hmm.
will cause you to stop whenever we say certain things like, I have no need to be comforted. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
But see, this is speaking from that God self. God does not have needs for that. So if we speak from that place that we are in God as God, we would say the same thing. I have no need to be comforted. I have no need to be defended. I have no need to be supported. I have no need to be noted.
And by making that affirmation and having that insight and revelation, it delivers us from uh the mindset of desperation, that state of
Yeah,
desperation where
yeah, yeah.
this is a must. This has to happen. This have to, or I'm not going to be happy, or this is going to happen, and it's always that chaotic thinking when you always operate in a state of need.
Yeah, and being angry with other people because they don't give you the respect you think you deserve.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and we
I
all
tell,
road.
I tell people all the time, if you want to find out you're not the body, leave it. But most people don't want to leave it.
They don't know how.
They don't know how because they believe they it.
Yes.
And when they leave, everybody's sad because that they gone. That's good. They gone, meaning they really left the body. It
Mm-hmm.
was to the point where it was not do the job, and we got tired of fooling with it. It's been in pain. It's been sick. It's been
Mm-hmm.
ugly. It's been
Mm-hmm.
fat. It's been
Mm-hmm.
skinny. It done took too much. It
It
done
gave
drunk too
out.
much
It just gave
and
out.
burned out. And I
Mm-hmm.
said, well, I'm sick of this thing. I think I'll leave.
Yeah.
Well,
Jesus said, the prince of this world come and have nothing in him. I mean, the prince of the world didn't really have to come. It was always in the mind of Jesus like it was everybody else. So he just got tired and said, I'm through. I'm leaving.
Mm-hmm.
And when
so
he left, his body quit.
He said he
But he
gave.
used people, did it.
Yeah, he said he gave up the
the
ghost.
goals.
He gave up his ghost self.
And so now, and we use that quite often. So now, and I'm gonna throw that out there just to see what the
Oh,
response is. Do we actually make the decision to leave the body, or does the body rejects us?
Well,
there's a possibility the body kick that butt out.
well, let me say this. Now, we all got opinions of what, but if God inhabits this flesh,
Mhm.
can God be evicted?
Good answer, Mom. Good answer.
God be
Good answer.
evicted?
That's good. That's good answer. Good answer.
No.
No.
So not until it's time for him to be evicted, he will not go.
I ran into a man today at the cheap place. He done had so many operations, a screw here and a screw there, and an elbow bent and a scar here. And he went into a coma for I don't know how many days. I asked him, did he see anything? He said no.
So
So his body wasn't ready for him to leave.
it isn't the body.
So
It's
based off
it's
of
when God is finished, and I say God in the sense when, and we're saying the word God a lot, but it's when God is finished with this incarnation.
I
Exactly.
tell you what the body would do.
That
The body
tells
would
us.
go to the doctor and see if he can find out another way to keep him here.
Well, sure.
So
But
that
God
tells
has
us.
to be finished with this incarnation. This is the only way that God will leave it.
So based off of your answer, that means that there is no such thing as someone died from cancer or someone died from this or that.
Prematurely,
Yeah,
right.
God pretty much said, I'm leaving.
Mm-hmm,
So
Hey,
said he can't be evicted. So cancer
mm-hmm,
can't evict him, diabetes can't evict him, none of those things.
mm-hmm.
He just makes the decision.
And we have proof of that because there are people who live with those conditions and continue to live.
you
Mhm.
remember when you were little, your mama whooped your butt so bad you wish you could have left your body, but she didn't beat it hard enough for you to leave.
You didn't get enough whippings.
Huh? Ah, she said I didn't get enough whooping.
Not at all.
I did so. I
Well,
got more than you did, I bet you.
that's
You got
beside the
one
point.
whooping all your life and it didn't do no good.
Now I firmly believe that.
It didn't do her bit of good. She got whooping and didn't give her
I
one.
firmly believe that you got more beatings than she did. I believe
Oh,
that.
he
Uh-uh.
deserved them. He deserved them.
She
He
got
was like Dennis the Menace. He was like Dennis the Menace.
she got one whooping for playing in the cold bin, and
Hey,
that wasn't enough.
you and the reason why I said it because you made me think about my son and my daughter. Yeah, I beat Chris quite often. Shannon, in her whole entire life, I beat her one time. One time.
See.
One
But my dad could whip you with his mouth.
time. But see, that's the thing with Shannon.
He
She
could
would
wear
cry as
his
soon as I lift my voice, she would start crying.
My
Mhm.
mom will slap
Chris, on the other hand, different story.
my mom will slap you with a backhand leg and it burns so bad you wish you dead. And the what was so bad that
And
you
I
fall
bet,
in the floor.
and I bet when you got hit, you might not even felt it. You just laid in the floor like you were dying.
I held my breath longer. I held my breath. Hey, I
Oh,
held my breath. I said,
you're a character. You
I
are
held
a
my breath.
character.
Then I
You-
was like,
and you did that because
ah.
you wanted her to feel sorry,
It
and
didn't do a bit of
you
good.
wanted
It was the
attention.
guilt
That's why
trip.
you did
Yeah,
that.
it was the guilt trip.
You
I'm
didn't
gonna
even
make
get
you.
a whooping.
I'm gonna make you feel really guilty about hitting me.
You
So
didn't get
I'm
no
gonna act
whooping.
like I'm dying.
Get up, feels the bad and run into the door. Oh, mama, you made me hit my face.
Okay, now we done done enough cutting up. Done enough cutting up.
Lord, he done
My
woke
mama said,
up.
go get a switch. I go get a little short one like that. A little bitty one.
Oh,
I
we
didn't
all
want to
did that.
it didn't work. It didn't
Anytime
work.
we was left to
Let me
go,
go back to the
anytime we was told to go get a switch,
I
Mm-hmm.
never did go back and get
all
another
the
one.
thing you could come back with.
I never did go back and get another one because I thought about it. I said, I must be crazy if I'm going to go get a big enough switch to get my butt beat. I'm crazy. I'm crazy as she is for whooping me.
Yeah, that's true.
So I went on
That's
back
true.
downstairs. Never did come back upstairs.
But you could get away from your mother.
Who could?
You, because you said you went downstairs and never went back upstairs. Your mom lived in the apartment
I
upstairs,
wasn't no better
and you
off.
went downstairs to your uncle.
Everybody down there was drunk, so it
But
wasn't
they
no better
didn't whip
off.
you though.
But they were drunk. It just was being beaten.
Okay.
What you laughing at, Pat? That's true.
He's laughing because every time I say something, he's gonna deliberately
That's,
go against it.
I ain't going
that's
against
I've
you.
been trying to
I'm just telling
I've
you
been
what it
trying to
is.
tell you for years. You you didn't know you had another calling, and that was that stage.
Oh,
And
shut
when he gets in that mode, you can't get anything
You
else
can't
done.
get nothing else. Get him crank up, and that's it.
My daddy run me up on the school ground trying to get me a whooping. I crawled up on top of the school. I thought it would anyway.
Now, why do we need to know that?
I'm telling you what insanity is. And a lot of people don't think that's insanity. To whoop somebody all the time, to be mad all the time, and they never do anything and do right all the time. When you go to school and don't never do anything right, but get F's and D's and whoopings, that make you feel like you're crazy. And then when you get home, you get a whooping too. So I quit getting whoopings from him.
Look what John Greason put on the screen.
What he put up there?
You should have brought in a log. She could have only hit you once. Jesus, you guys are crazy.
Running a log.
That's true. Yeah.
Hey, John, I'd eat that log up the way I mad at me. I'd have chewed it up and spit it out.
Woo.
Good, John. That's
I,
good.
I wanted to
That's a
scare my
good one
mama.
there.
I should have stood there. But
I
we
gotta
had
use that one. That's a good one. That's a real good one.
I was gonna take my mama to the truant officer.
Yeah. No, there's no.
I did.
I
She was
was take
whooping
your
me so
mom to the
much.
truant house.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's
How are you gonna take
that's
her to the truant house?
because I was little
Yeah, but
and I didn't need to be beat.
how could you take her?
I was
to
going
a
to
truant
report her.
officer?
I was going to report her to the truant officer. Have her go to the mall industrial school for whooping me.
Okay. Oh, good. It must be late in the evening.
And the sun ain't went down.
Must be late in the evening. Oh my God.
Are these sessions recorded? Cause you could go, Ma, you could go back and do.
Yeah. Unfortunately, yes. Unfortunately, they are.
But I'm gonna tell you, life will bring it up. But as you get older, you find out them beats didn't do no good. They didn't do no good.
You don't think they did any good?
No, they didn't do you no good. That ain't they did no good. All you do grow up and just learn how to talk to them like they talk to you, and they got to agree with it because you done got bigger than them, and so they won't fight you no more. Everybody's scared of each other.
He's scared of each other.
Everybody's scared of each other. But I got so bad, I just pulled a shotgun out the closet. I'm through. I ain't gonna say no more. I'm through. She give me that look, I quit. Go ahead.
No, keep going.
I'm through.
Go ahead, finish. Go ahead and finish.
I'm through, y'all. Anybody?
Go ahead and finish.
I ain't got no more to say. I've run out.
Oh my goodness.
I run out. But I tell you what, we do get to a point where we have to end up taking care of our parents, and then we find out who was really insane.
Yeah, you're right about that. Sometimes you find out that the one you thought was the problem was just the opposite.
Exactly.
And who was the problem?
Hmm?
Who would have been the problem then?
In my parents,
Yeah.
mom had some issues. That I always thought dad was the problem.
It
But
was.
mom had some issues. Mom had some issues.
That's a good point, but I'm not going to ask a question or elaborate on that. We'll be at another 45 minutes.
I know. And this is not a good place to end up, but this is where we've ended.
That was a good cliffhanger right there.
Yeah.
Oh,
it
you
is.
calling my name Cliffhanger?
Yes, we are.
Okay. But we'll come back on Sunday morning and we'll take up with this cliffhanger.
Listen, guys. We want you to give out of your abundance. Give out
Yeah, I
of
need
your
to talk to him
abundance.
about that.
Well, go ahead.
Go ahead.
You go ahead.
Mm-mm.
You said you needed to talk to him. Now go ahead.
I don't forget what I'm going to say.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you for helping us keep going. That's it.
That's it.
Mhm.
That's it, guys. Well, listen. I wanted to let you know. I want to thank all of you for whatever you gave on Sunday, and wanted to tell you because of all of the things that are going on with the hurricanes and the relief efforts, we are donating 10% of whatever you give to Crisis Control Ministries, which is a ministry that takes care of food and shelter and medicine for people. And it's also reaching out and helping with the hurricane relief. So I'm pretty sure they're going to do the same thing with Milton as it comes in. So if you want to be able to help and you haven't got the means to go to these places and you don't know where to give, then give to Cornerstone, your tithes and your offerings, and 10% of whatever you give will go to crisis control to help some of these people. They need our prayers. We need to be praying for all of them, those who have already been impacted and those who are potentially going to be impacted by Hurricane Milton. They said it's going to be a really forceful storm that's going to hit Florida. So we're praying for every last one of them. Be diligent about giving so that it can bless them and help them. I remember when my brother was alive, how crisis control helped him to get his lights back on. They gave him medications until he was able to get his Medicaid. They gave him groceries every week until he was able to get his food stamps. So they help people. They help people to keep their houses. They help people to get their utilities and all of this. So just be gracious enough to send something to Cornerstone for that reason. And you can do that by texting, or you can send it to PayPal, or you can send it to go directly to the website and donate. Either way you do it is fine. And we thank you for all of the cash apps that you sent to us personally. And of course, we got on the screen for you to be able to give to Pastor Norman as well. Thank you again, Pastor Norman, for
Anytime.
your coming in here and listening to our craziness and working with us through our craziness. My husband's in that mode, but he's had a pretty difficult day today. So
Oh,
he had a difficult
I
day.
saw something today on the weatherman reporting about what's going on in Florida, and he was so choked up with tears he couldn't even talk.
Yeah.
yeah.
The devastation of what people have to go through,
Mm-hmm.
and all of that went around. But when you go to the grocery store now, you got people coming from up in the mountain parts coming down
Who
here,
don't even live in this area.
getting all
Yeah.
the toilet paper and the paper towels and things.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna have to start using sandpaper.
Well, a lot of them too are displaced. You know, they can't live in that area anymore, so they're moving in these areas because they don't have anywhere to live there. So yeah,
They done took all the paper out of the store. We're going to use sandpaper.
yeah, I
Oh,
heard
we
you.
ain't using it. You ain't using no sandpaper.
What you gonna use? A brick?
Ain't gonna use no sandpaper.
They buying everything out the store, and the prices are going up. What are you doing over there?
I'm putting this in this screen.
But we got to keep going.
Yes.
Thank you, John, for telling us to hit the like button. We'll see you guys on Sunday, Lord willing, and nothing happens. We'll be right back here on Sunday at 10. Pastor Norma you'll be back on Sunday at 9?
9.
9 o'clock.
Yes,
Catch him if you can. He's on Facebook under Norman Armstrong Ministries.
correct.
And he's good. He's good. Good speaker. Good speaker. Good speaker.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you said. I said okay.
Oh,
Are you
okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, guys. We love you. We'll see you next time.
Love
Bye
you
See you,
all.
bye.
John Jr. Greason, and all you little John Juniors